Croeso sianel Blaid Llwyd. We're back at Hammond Manor again. It's been a bit of a break in the past with videos. Grizz was doing some housekeeping in one update and also finishing off the C&D paths, which are more the bad ones, which I haven't been playing on the channel. And I really have to try and go through some time on my own time when I actually have the time. But anyway, we're back with Password, and this month it's Tyson's route. So we're going to pick things up at the end of day 17. I knew I was dreaming before I could question if I was awake or not. Home. It was the last thing I'd been thinking of when talking to Ty before bed. It was the last thing I was holding on to as a safe place to return to. I found myself standing in the front yard in my street. It was familiar, it was safe, and it was something far removed from all my troubles at the mansion. But just thinking about my troubles made me remember what was looming over me in a couple of days. Specifically how many I didn't know. That was a job for the coming days. The vault, or Thanatos, had told me that at least. The full moon was going to be the next marker in when something was going to go wrong. If I hadn't seen it myself, I might not have believed him. Part of me wondered if I still did, knowing full well that Tyson wasn't a werewolf. It couldn't be, they just didn't exist. But the reality that he killed Orlando is hard to shake after I'd seen the state of Orlando's body and Tyson in the light of the full moon covered in blood. So what are you going to do now? Hearing the Thanatos in my dream talk sent chills up my spine. He was taunting me to do something, not that I needed the encouragement. I was going to save Tyson or Orlando, I just needed to figure out how. But the prospect made my head hurt. As it surged through my system, the dream began to fade. Go on, Junior, it's all on you now. I knew it was, but the stress of worrying about screwing it up made my headache all the worse. As I opened my eyes, my head was killing me with a splitting headache, similar to the one yesterday, but mild enough that I was able to at least sit up and ease myself into being awake proper. I had things I needed to do today, mostly just checking in on Ty, maybe Orlando, and figuring out when the next full moon was. Then I had to follow up on why my parents were here and what the connection was. That'd be more than what I'd been told already, but maybe I was just being hopeful. Rumbling, I clutched my head and got out of bed, threw on some clothes before grabbing my phone and making my way downstairs. By the time I got to the bottom of the stairs, I realised how quiet it was for the time. Oh! Dean's voice echoed out from the dining room alerted me that someone else had at least been up. I followed the scent of coffee that hit me soon after into the dining room. When I took my first step into the dining room, though... Well, good morning. Before me was Dean sitting at the table with a cup of coffee. With him standing on the table was Thanatos, seemingly getting manhandled and not too happy about it. What are you doing? Oh, I was just enjoying a cup of coffee when this old guy showed up. Oh, seems friendly enough. What makes you say that? Well, he hasn't bitten me yet. I looked at Thanatos, uncertain. All he did was give me a look somewhere between annoyance and a plea for help. Should you really be messing with a rat you found? What if he has, a disease? Well, it can't be a wild one. See, he has a collar. Well, that makes him a pet, right? Again I looked at Thanatos, who seemed just about ready to bite something, but remained quiet this whole time. Maybe? But he doesn't seem to like you messing around with him like that. Well, if he didn't, I'm sure he'd let me know. As if taking the invitation, Thanatos quickly bit down on Dean's hand, freeing himself. Ow! Told you. You're a lot bigger than he is. You might have hurt him. You think so? Well, I don't see how I could have hurt him. Why not? A set of lazy footfalls entering the room distracted the both of us from Thanatos still on the table. Look at Oswin as he entered from the foyer. Good morning. Morning. Oh, hey Oswin, I found this rat. Does he belong to you? With a sigh, Oswin looked down to Thanatos. He may as well. I hope he hasn't been misbehaving. Well, he did just bite me. You were treating him kind of rough, though. Yes, well, I'll be taking him back now. Come along, Thanatos. Thanatos looked back towards Dean and then me, staying put on his spot on the table. Thanatos, I swear I'll pick you up by the scruff if I have to. Won't that hurt him? Oh, trust me, he'll be fine. Sure, I guess so. Before anyone could say anything else, Oswin picked up Thanatos, looking him over. Next time, stay in your damn cage. He was unceremoniously shoved into one of Oswin's pockets and out of sight in a flash, leaving the three of us in silence. Sorry about that, he's prone to misbehaving. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm off to make myself some coffee. I'll bring one out for you as well before I head to bed, Dave. I took a seat next to Dean and the two of us watched Oswin disappear into the kitchen. When he's out of sight, Dean put an arm over the back of my chair and leaning close. Oh, do you reckon he knows that rat isn't alive? I spun my head quickly to look at Dean, eyes bulging out of my head. What do you mean? Well, it looks alive, but it's not. It's got to be robotic. No way normal rat is that heavy, plus that bite. He showed me his hand, still weeping with a small trickle of blood. That was some biting force. Dean, you're bleeding. Oh, it'll stop soon enough. Good thing's my hand's a little calloused from hard work, huh? A coffee for you, Dave. Should anyone need me today, let Benson know and he can come get me. I have some things to attend to. What things? Disciplining a rat for starters, but mostly just making sure everything's in its place. It would not hurt to make sure the vault is still operational should the worst happen. Well, it's been a few days since anything happened. I think we're still at risk. I can't confirm that we're not, and it's not as if I have anything better to do. You could stick around the rest of us and maybe we could watch a movie. I shall pass, thank you. Although there's some merit in your idea. If Thanatos wasn't a factor, I wouldn't have minded a dip in the hot tub. Even with, well, people in the woods. I wouldn't go unarmed, mind you, although I do see some level of carelessness in that. So is going outside just out of the question? In the back of my mind, the thought of Thanatos taking me all the way into the hedge maze made me wonder how much of a risk I'd taken by following his whims. Although perhaps as long as there's someone with you, or if you're armed, or perhaps hidden enough, it should be fine. He stroked his beard soon after, thinking it over. Well, I'll be going now. If something comes up, tell Benson. I warmed my hands with the coffee he brought me, watched him leave before turning to Dean. Where were we? Oh, yeah, you're bleeding. Oh, I said I'm fine. It's already slowing down, although it stings a little. So you're right for messing with an animal like that, though. You mean robot? You don't know that. I guess not. Although if you get a chance to hold that rat, you tell me how it compares to a regular one. I drank from my coffee and wondered why Thanatos had come to the dining room. What was here? Was he waiting for someone? Not that I had much in the way of time to think about before everyone else started arriving for breakfast. Oh, good morning, you two. Well, normally you two are up before I am. Given how things have been lately, I've been getting what sleep while I can. I've been awake for a while, but just resting in bed. While there might not be sleep, I'll take what I can get. Shut the fuck up, you fat fuck! Those of us already in the room looked at one another before I groaned into my coffee. Tyson's awake. And picking on Orlando by the sounds of things. Well, we don't know that just yet. The day we got on the bus, I was feeling similar emotions to what Tyson is likely feeling now. Harsh. Dean stood to say something, but before he could, Tyson came storming in looking upset about something. No one say a fucking word! His gaze went immediately to me when I opened my mouth to say good morning. He didn't have to tell me that I was included in his sweeping demand. He made his way down the room and into the kitchen, shoulders hunched and fur bristled. The door slammed closed behind him, the sound echoing through the room. Orlando stomped into the room, looking just as tense, looked at each of us as much as Tyson did. What? You okay? He's an asshole. I didn't even do anything. Orlando, what did you say? Nothing. Okay, but what did you say? He just said he didn't say anything. All I asked was if he's feeling better after yesterday. Orlando. Okay, so maybe a little bit more sass in there when I asked. And how much more sass? Roswell made himself known at this point, having arrived shortly behind Orlando. Well, I believe the line was, good morning, think you're going to be less of an asshole today, or should I just go back to bed? Orlando, go apologise. That's not a good idea. Not when he's in as much a mood as he's in. Then after. Fine, man, I'm not going anywhere near until he's calmed down. Dean rose properly from his chair and downed the rest of his coffee before wandering over to Hoss, clapping him on his shoulder. Well, everyone sit tight. Hoss and I'll go talk to Tyson and get breakfast going. I should get something from my hand, and we can't just not have breakfast. Be careful. Oh, I will. I don't think he can do much to me anyway. Dean and Hoss wandered off into the kitchen. The moment they did, Tyson started yelling with Dean. Oh boy. If anything, it was a reminder of what I had to avoid, and Tyson was getting worse, it seemed. Whatever the cause was, I had to figure it out and do something to stop it. By the time the three of them emerged from the kitchen, it was almost like it was back to the first day we arrived. Tyson was up near the end of the table, and the rest of us were tidily eating breakfast with just as tired smiles on our faces. I kept looking down the table to Tyson, wondering what I should do. Did he want company? Did he need company? Or did I just want to be around him given he's all by himself? As for me, I was worried. We'd almost been here 3 weeks, and there was still no telling when we'd go home with the road the way it was. I took it upon myself to quietly clear the table, taking the plates and cutlery into the kitchen, and began to wash the dishes while I thought things out. Just having the time to mull it over, I kept my hands busy helped, and one of the reasons why I like to do arts and crafts when I was just waiting for the time to go by. When all the dishes were done, I knew the only way forward was to talk out my worries with someone else. I knew just who to go to. Ty? I'd seen him wander downstairs, which to me read that he was heading towards the gym. Given he wanted to be left alone, maybe vent some anger, the gym made sense to me. But as I looked around, he wasn't here. I couldn't hear the sound of punching bag getting struck either. I backed out and looked around the basement. It was cold and dark, but most importantly, quiet. Are you down here? What do you want? He stepped out from where he'd been standing against the wall in the corner. Whether or not we just missed each other or he watched me walk right past him, I don't know. I wanted to talk. He huffed, tensing up. What now? My head's hurting. Right, well. After yesterday, I just wanted to make sure you're okay, and... I stopped myself, wondering if it was best to tell him or not. He was barely looking at me, but at least giving me the space to speak my mind. If something happened, I'd love your help if you're able to. Dear, I don't know. I'd love to just go back to bed. Well, I'm not going to force you, but I guess there's nothing else to add there. I'm not going to force you. He looked at me curiously before sighing, shaking his head. What do you want to talk about? Can I be blunt? If you're going to chew me up what happened this morning, you can fuck off right now. No, it's not that. Good. Then what? I used the vault yesterday. Am I going to die again? The way he said it sounded sarcastic. It's either he didn't believe me or just his mood souring his attitude towards the conversation. Not exactly. I got to ask, have you ever thought about... Oh, spit it out. Do you have any reason to kill Orlando? Huh? He was a little stunned by the question, but seemed to think about it. Brow furrowed and quiet before he came back with his answer. So Orlando's gonna die next. That's what the vault showed me, at least. That's why yesterday was a bit... I don't know. Nah, I get it. See that shit? No wonder you come running to grill me about what was wrong. Well, no. That happened after I talked to you on Orlando. Well, why the fuck were you asking me shit yesterday? Just, I had a hunch something was wrong and I figured I'd check. Oh, fine. So, you have no reason to kill Orlando? Why is it going to come out and say he's the one fucking up this vacation blew up the road? Can't say I do. And you're not a werewolf, right? What? Do you raise a dumb yourself right now? Those don't exist. Just wolves. Well, I don't know. Just had to ask. Was there anything else? I looked at him warily before shaking my head. Not on that, at least. He looked at me expectantly, tilting his head. What is it? Something else came up yesterday, but I'll need you to come up to my room for it. And can't you bring it down here? I suppose I could, but I don't know. Privacy might be nice for this. I don't really know what it means yet. Now how the fuck am I meant to help? Please just come up to my room. You can leave after, I promise. You're not going to take no for an answer either way, huh? Well, no, not really. Fine, but this better be good. Quietly we made our way upstairs. The others seemed to be off doing other things, far enough away that Tyson and I went unnoticed as we headed towards the bedroom. Oh. I haven't shown you anything yet. Not that. It's quieter in here. Because... Oh, fuck if I know, just is. You mean compared to the basement or your room? My room. That's this kind of high-pitched buzz to it. It drives me nuts. Ty, you've been putting up with that for almost 3 weeks now. Why didn't you say anything? Oh, 3 weeks. Just every now and again. I figured I was just imagining it, or it's because the house was old. Oh, don't ask me. Let's put a pin in that, because I want to show you this other thing. But if there's something going on with your room, well... Hurry up. I rolled my eyes, snatched up Dad's license where I'd stashed it and sat down on the bed. When Ty didn't follow suit immediately after, I pulled on his arm until he was sitting next to me. So, I found this yesterday. Handing him the card, I watched his expression shift between being annoyed, to confused, to surprised, and then right back to being annoyed. David's license. He was here, Ty, multiple times. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Why did he come all the way out here? When? When I asked Oswin, he said it was stuff regarding work, an investigation or something, but that's not the reason he kept coming back. What? Dad knew he was going to die. He came here the night it happened. After he left for work that night, he came here. Tyson's nose scrunched up and he started to snarl. No one in particular, but he wasn't taking the information well. Ty? That bastard came here knowing he's going to die? After the talk we had and everything? The guy talk? Yeah, I didn't think he was having the chat because we literally couldn't have it any other time. It was a good conversation, right? Well, at the time I fucking thought so. With a groan, he flopped back on the bed and started teasing the fur around his collar, staring at the ceiling. Asshole. Ty, that's my dad you're talking about. Yeah, well, you don't get it. Then help me get it. I watched him as he sulked on the bed, not saying a word more. Fine, don't tell me now, tell me later. We're not done. He grunted and I took Dad's permission to keep talking. Mom was here too, a little while after Dad died. Again he grunted, although I got the impression he didn't really care. Both my parents were here, Ty. Now I'm here going through all this stuff with the vault and just... Isn't it odd? Why is all this happening? I left out the part of Dad seeing me die for a reason. Part of me wasn't sure I fully believed Oswin about it. I didn't want him to pick any more fights over it just in case. What does it matter? Your dad is dead, your mum doesn't care about you. Who fucking cares? What he said stunned me and he sat up quickly, grumbling. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean it like that. What I mean is, what's it going to change if we find out now? It's not going to change anything for us now, and it sure as hell not going to change anything back home. I guess so. Now tell me how you really feel. There has to be something to this, right? How realistic is it to expect the dad came here, died, then mom came here, now I'm here? Well, I don't know, Roswell invited you, right? Ask him. I guess that's a place to start. Are we done now? Well... What now? I don't know, Ty. I'm worried. What if you accidentally kill Orlando after all? What would happen to you afterwards? Well, I think that we got off this mountain. I don't think that's true. You have to deal with what the others would think, plus in the moment, what if one of them panics and, Dave, listen to me very carefully. You need to shut up. What do you mean? I don't want to hear about me getting killed, especially with this headache. It's getting better, but fuck, give me a break. You're not worried at all? Well, I'm worried when you're worried, sure. I just don't go panicking about shit that hasn't happened yet. He shoved me gently and I let myself flop onto the bed beside him. Like I said last night, I'll get a gun and it'll be fine. You're the one at risk doing the killing, remember? Well, that isn't for me. I'll give it to Dean or you, or hell, even Orlando. I act up, shoot me. I sat up again in a panic, eyes wide. On the leg, dumbass, so I won't eat shit and die in case it's a misunderstanding. I relaxed a little, but started to feel with my hands, unsure. How long have we got? I don't know. You got nothing? Only this the next full moon. Oh, fucking great. Explains the werewolf thing, though. Of course, when the next full moon is later. You think he'd know? Well, I'm not asking Roswell. Okay. Once more, I fell back onto the bed and stared at the ceiling much in the same way Ty had moments before. He copied me, laying back in signs he got comfortable. Shit's fucked, right? Sure, yeah. How many things are messed up? You swear a lot, you know that. Well, I'm in pain, give me a break. I chuckled to myself, snickering at first while rolling into a quiet laugh. You're a swear-wolf, Ty. He reached over me and grabbed a pillow, whapping me across the chest, but it didn't stop my laughter. Oh God, you're a pain. You like it. Well, maybe. We got comfortable on the bed and Ty cuddled me from behind. Before long he was peacefully asleep, snoring quietly behind me. As for me though, I just lay there comfortably with my thoughts, wondering what my next move was. My mind kept coming back to wondering what had tried to kill Tyson the first time, and how he'd ended up afterwards. The very thought made me tremble. The hand Tyson had hooked around my chest rubbed me idly as he slept. How much was he conscious? How much was he aware of how I was feeling while he was asleep? There were too many things going through my head. That led me to think about how much was too much. Maybe overthinking things like this was just normal, especially when it came to people you loved. I loved Tyson as a brother. At least that's what my mind defaulted to. Granted, we did things no brother should realistically do together, but what we had was ours. Part of it might have been my upbringing without proper siblings. Maybe part of it was the same for him, and through that we were just closer than we should have been otherwise. Even showering together I never thought of overtly sexual, outside of a few times, though most of those times only been in the past year or so. Eventually I got up, wriggling out of Tyson's grasp and replacing myself with the other pillow. The idea that his room was louder confused me. It bothered me enough that I wanted to see for myself, but only to check. Finding myself in his room was strange without him being in it. Almost like I was trespassing somewhere I shouldn't, despite it being a borrowed room to begin with. The room didn't sound any different, even when I closed my eyes to focus. As far as I could tell, it was just the same as my room. What are you doing? Thanatos? What? What are you doing? I asked you first. I was just checking out Tyson's room. He's not here. Yeah, he's in my room right now. Well, aren't you clever? What did I do? I just wanted to talk about the license stuff. Right, I did tell you about that yesterday, didn't I? Doesn't explain why you're in his room, though. Why did I say it to you? Well, Ty said his room was loud, plus his headache. It's all just, I don't know, strange. Or strange in what way? Why would his room be louder than mine if his is soundproofed? Well, that's not how soundproof it works. It'll explain why no one else has mentioned hearing anything coming from Ty's room, though, right? I got me there, you're right. That would stop the sound from going out for sure. Then, time to start looking for the source of this sound? You can tell me why you hear while I look. Oh, fat chance that's going to happen. Grumbling, I wandered around checking Ty's things. Nothing really stood out, just piles of clothes. Ty didn't have much in the way of stuff, but there was notably a pile of things that looked like he'd taken from around the house. He's a thief, you know. I know, I'll talk to him about it. As I was checking under the bed, Thanatos wandered over and stood next to me, peering under the bed as well. Expecting to see a monster under the bed? I'm just hoping to find something to hint towards what Tyson is hearing, like how my room was bugged or something. I can't like finding anything, there's nothing like that here. What makes you so sure? Oh, something you heard, Oswin? That was me under your bed. Really? His smug grin made me wonder if it's just a ruse if he was telling the truth. Really, easy to communicate using my collar and setting up a complete set of bugs. Don't need video either, just audio so I can stay out of sight. Pulling my head out from under Ty's bed, I frowned at Thanatos and shook my head. I don't believe you. Do or don't, doesn't bother me either way. Thanatos, what do you think Tyson is hearing? Oh, it could be anything. I don't see anything that could have made a sound, unless it's his phone or... I looked at Thanatos again and wore yet another smug grin. Were you in his room this morning? I don't know what you're talking about. If you were in his room, you could, like, I don't know, play loud music or something. Music? Nah, but something like this, though. I covered my ears as suddenly a high-pitched tone sounded. It was hard to tell if it was loud, but it hurt my ears all the same. Okay, stop. You sure? Yes, quit it. And as soon as it had started, it stopped, a faint ringing in my head remaining as I gathered my thoughts. What was that? You're under my best approximation of what could play. Well, yes, but that was awful. What did you expect? Looks like the same thing as Tyson here, but you wouldn't be able to hear what he did anyway. So it was you. Why? I'm just following orders. But orders from who? My master wanted to run a test and let me pick the parameters. Don't really know when I came up with the idea, but this isn't the first time. Since we've been here. Across my lifetime. So even after yesterday you still went through a tormenting time. Thanatos shook his head, shrugging. Yes, because I'm just doing what I was programmed to do. I get some freedoms, I still do what I'm told. The right person, anyway. And what happens now that I know? Well, I'm given a specific instruction for if you find out. Yes, you just have to do something about it to stop what's going to happen. You don't feel bad about it at all? You're talking to a machine, Junior. You're the one who said you were bored. Which is it? I call it ambiguous commands. You try waking up for the first time in the timeline, already know anything about your master before you've even been introduced. That doesn't sound like an ambiguous command. What was so ambiguous about it? All I was told was to push Tyson to going nuts on the full moon by hiding in his room. No specifics, no plans for you if you found out, nothing. And the boredom thing? Why does it matter? Why does it matter what you intend on doing about my command telling me to mess with your friend? Do you really not care? Like I told you, I wasn't made to feel empathy. Just fulfill my commands and that's it. I command you to tell what your commands are. Points to try him, that's going to work. If my command is to entertain myself, then that's a lot of processing to be done. Just as well that exists outside the normal timeline. So you're going to be bothering Tyson until the full moon? As long as he's in his room. A few moments passed before it clicked and I sat upright. Oh, I get it. Good, maybe we'll both get what we want. What do you want? What could someone like you even want? Yeah, what you can imagine is going to be more exciting than any lie I could come up with. Right, well, okay then. What are you going to do now? Probably go back to Ty and see how he's doing. Good, I have someone I need to check in with too, so open the door for me and we can leave. Who? Not going to get that out of me, nice try. After some more prodding with no results, I left the room, and Thanatos basically ran over my foot to stop himself from getting locked in again. I watched him disappear downstairs and out of sight. For the most part, I felt that saving Tyson was going to be much easier now. It was only after he disappeared that I realised I missed my chance to question about his appearance just before breakfast. I'm sure I'll be able to ask him later. Ty? Closing the door behind me as I stepped into my room, he murmured in his sleep. Huh? What? Sorry, just making sure you're still here. Of course I'm still here. Why the fuck would I leave? Did you want to sleep some more? I was sleeping before you woke me up. Alright, sorry. Oh, don't worry about it. Just get back here. Why? Look, I'm still tired, so just get over here, alright? Oh, okay. He sat up a little as I got close and he motioned with his head for me to lay down again. Swiveled around so we were actually using the bed properly compared to when he'd fallen asleep before. We'll get a couple of hours in, have lunch and go do something after, or just us. Sure, that'll probably be fine. The moment I lay down, he's behind me, pulling me in close with an arm around my chest again. My head still hurts, but it's getting better. Much like before, it was long before Tyson was out like a light, and just cuddled up in front of him, I found myself drifting off too. I didn't dream, but I did sleep. Or rather, instead of dreams, I had vague colours and scents that crossed my barely conscious mind as I lay there. Nothing in particular, just remnants of pleasant memories flashing across my mind, but I welcomed them all the same. After a nap that lasted longer than we both intended, we made our way downstairs to get some lunch.
A grilled cheese?
Yeah. He shrugged and took a seat while I carried bread and cheese over the counter to start putting things together.
Hey, listen, thanks for that. Before.
For what?
A nap, I needed it.
So I could have handed you a candy bar and then you'd feel better. That only works on Roswell.
I'm not a kid either.
You don't have to be a kid to like candy either, Ty. I don't know, candy makes me feel better sometimes.
You're lucky those fats Orlando and Roswell then.
Don't call them fat, they're just, I tried to think of a nicer way to phrase it, but Ty wasn't wrong. They both could afford to cut back on snack foods. Well, you could afford to eat more.
Well, what if you'd hurry up and make my sandwich?
Well, is that all I'm good for now?
Well, given how fast that sandwich is happening, not at all. Besides, I've been trying, it's just hard unless I get yours.
Yeah, so 2 grilled cheese sandwiches then?
1.5, I'll split it with you.
Sure. While I continued to work, Ty remained there quietly, watching me as I moved about the kitchen, and then while I watched the cheese grill, his eyes not leaving me once.
Listen, Dave, how you doing, really?
What do you mean?
Just wanted to check.
I sat down next to him, sliding over his lunch while I looked at mine to think over his question. I think I'm doing okay. Hasn't even been a week and things feel both tender and not tender at the same time. Then there's other things on my mind with what's happening outside and just...
I get it.
You do?
Or maybe not exactly, but it sounds like too much.
How many days have we been here, Ty? Please tell me the month is almost over so we can go home.
I've been keeping count. Maybe a week left, or probably more.
Right, yeah. I hung my head and I could hear Tyson crunching into his sandwich, hungrily devouring what he had and sighing out when I nibbled on the half that existed from what Ty didn't want.
Not hungry?
Just troubled. Did you want more?
I'm not taking food off your plate, Dave.
I took the full sandwich and put it on his, continuing to nibble on the piece I had. Dad would want me to share with my brother. I caught him flinching at that comment, but he took the sandwich all the same and started to eat again, though slower this time. What did you and Dad talk about that day anyway? He ate slower again, keeping his gaze away from me while I tried to make eye contact. Still too soon for me to know?
Oh, it's just all messy stuff. I'll tell you later. Why do you want to know anyway?
It was one of the last conversations he had before I never saw him again, so...
You ever think that's why I don't want to tell you?
Wait, you knew he wouldn't be coming back?
Well, that's not what I said, but it was heavy stuff. Remember we took a fucking hour to go over everything?
He got up, downing the rest of his sandwich and taking the plate from me, despite me not being finished.
Hurry up, we're going somewhere.
Where?
Hurry up and I'll show you.
Taking both the plates over the sink, he left them there before taking the door leading towards the foyer rather than cutting through the dining room. It took a few moments longer to finish eating before following Tyson in the direction he went, spotting him leaving out the back door. Remaining by the door, I looked around in case there was anyone else out here with us. I couldn't see any flashes of white among the trees, just Ty standing on the grass waiting for me.
Come on, it's fine.
He reached out and I rushed over to take his hand, holding it tight.
We're going to do something.
Do what?
Put your mind at ease, so just trust me on this.
Alright. He led me over to the spot in the yard where the two of us and Dean talked about what might have caused Tyson to die.
Hang on, I gotta find something I buried here.
What are you doing burying stuff over here?
I figured if someone's gonna try doing me in, I might as well prepare something just in case.
Like? Ty got on his knees and started to dig around in the soil, slowing down once he got to a certain point and then sat back with a dirty knife in front of him.
Like a knife, just in case, so I had a weapon.
But when did you even bury this here? He shrugged, picking the knife up and handing it over to me. It looked just like a regular kitchen knife, but I guess that made sense given how accessible the things in the kitchen were. It's just a spare one.
I ain't looking about an old one in one of the drawers. Still, no one noticed it was missing if all the ones in the knife block were still there.
I guess that's smart.
Well, how do you teach you to defend yourself? Also something else.
Like what?
Tell me about this guy that chased you in the forest.
The rabbit?
Yeah, take this knife and describe him to me. Just trust me, you'll feel better while you're holding the knife.
Taking the knife in hand, I breathed in, looking how just dirty it was. And probably blunt, too. Well, he peed once in the watermill and then brought me outside, but then didn't really want to let me go, I think.
Doesn't tell me much.
What's there to really tell? He followed me when I tried to head back, had a knife, and then chased me back here.
Think he'd have caught you if he wanted?
Yeah, he's faster than me.
Shit, who does that anyway? What a psycho.
What do you mean?
I think about it in terms of how you bully someone. If he wanted to kill you, he would have.
This didn't make me feel any better, Ty.
That's the point. He was just playing with you in the most fucked up way possible, which makes me wonder why.
He grabbed me and held a knife to my throat.
Yeah, and if this guy's working for the mob, then why didn't he just do it?
Because of the gunshot.
I meant before that. Like, shit, why go through the motions if you're being hired to kill someone?
Maybe he's a bad assassin?
Do you really think that?
I looked down at the knife in my hand, then back to Ty. Let me get back to the house, and then... Did Jack really try and kill me? Was it just to put on a show? I could feel the knife on my neck still, the weight bit against my skin and the fur. What was his goal? I shrugged, looked into the forest, squinting through the dark before looking back to me.
Scared the shit out of you? Dunno. Maybe the mob just works that way.
Could ask Orlando, maybe. All I got as a reply from that was Ty loudly scoffing at the idea, looking back at the house.
Reckon he's working with them?
Who, Orlando? Don't think so, given many reasons.
Such as?
He's soft, like me. He doesn't like the fighting or typically doing bad things in general.
That's a bust. What about Dean?
What about Dean?
When we talked about this a week ago, he mentioned a bear.
I think he meant a wild one.
And if he didn't?
You can't suspect Dean all of a sudden, can you?
No, I don't have much to fucking go off, do I? I just don't want you getting hurt.
And this is teaching me how to defend myself?
Oh, right.
Ty reached out and grabbed the knife off me, while grabbing a chunk of fur just underneath where my ear ended. The moment he tugged, I yelped, a stinging pain coursing through my body.
First tip, you can just grab here and yank. Something I picked up at some point.
So just do that if I'm being attacked?
Well, if you're being grabbed, maybe. Otherwise, just...
He bumped me quickly somewhere into the ribs, not hard, but enough to show where he was talking.
Hidden someone there will wind them. Should remember that one.
Oh, right.
Nothing to use if you need to get away.
And the knife?
If you're going to use it, stab anyone that's going to hurt.
What if I killed him?
The fuck do you mean? You only meant to do this if they're attacking you. That's why you'd have the knife.
He dealt and started burying it again, patting the soil when he was done.
That help? Just remember there's a knife here in case you need it.
Ty, do you really need to come out here for this? We've gone over this indoors.
There's another reason to come out here. I wanted you out here to show it's not scary.
You weren't the one who got chased, Ty.
No, it was the thing I've noticed Hoss doing.
He leaned on the tree and reached out for my hand. Unsure what he was doing, I took it and followed his gaze into the woods.
He just does this thing where you say you don't like something and exposes it to you a little bit at a time.
Like vegetables?
Well, I guess. I mean, more like just friendly bullshit things like hugging and touching. Like, we hug and it's not gay 'cause it's just you. You're my brother. Hoss hugs me and...
He fidgeted, scratching his neck. It's what?
Well, it's annoying as all hell. He does it 'cause it gets a reaction out of me. It's not all bad. Anime is fine and having a friend is nice.
You'd probably get along just well with the others too if you tried.
One thing at a time, Dave. We never have this shit to worry about. But outside is fine. Being out here is fine. Just the stuff in there, though, worry about that.
I don't think this is helping all that much.
Want to go back inside then?
I strained to look into the dark. No movement, no sound beyond the faint sounds of nature around us. It almost looked peaceful. Maybe just a little longer before we do? It's not so bad. I can't see anyone in there. After a while we headed back inside and we started preparing things for dinner. It was a while off until then, but with a little bit of pushing it was something to start making amends for his behaviour. Come on, it's not that bad. I dragged Tyson by the hand upstairs and towards the games room, hoping Orlando would be there. Orlando, you here?
Yeah, what's up?
Orlando's nostrils flared when he saw Tyson, but said nothing, looking to me instead. Nothing much, just bringing Ty around.
I can see that.
I flashed him a smile and waited. Then waited some more. But eventually I elbowed Ty in the ribs to get him talking because he wasn't doing it by himself.
Oh, fine. Okay, just look. I'm sorry, alright? You're sorry, huh? I was being an asshole yesterday. I didn't have to take it out on you.
You really didn't, but I guess that's fine. Don't you have anything you want to say to him back?
What do you mean?
Well, given this morning, I think fair's fair.
Oh, sorry for this morning, I guess.
You can do better than that.
Oh. Well, don't worry about it, I get it. Okay, sure, yeah. Do you want to play video games or anything?
We just finished preparing things for dinner, so we have the time.
Sorry, but no. Dave and I still have shit to do. Maybe after, though.
We do? Ty was already moving, disappearing out the door without me. Guess we do. Sorry, Orlando, I'll catch you later. I followed him to my bedroom and he's standing by the bed holding Dad's license. Closing the door behind me, I remained there, watching and waiting for him to speak first.
He's a real piece of work, huh?
Who? He sighed, turning the license over in hand before looking at me.
Your dad.
I wanted closer and he passed me the license. It was Dad in the photo, the faintest signs of a smile on the photo despite the typical requirement to keep a straight face. What makes you say that? He sat down on the bed, messing with his hands. I sat down next to him, copying his movements.
Oh, guy stuff. I wanted to talk to him about, well, me.
Go on.
I was originally going to talk to him about other stuff, just some advice, right? I could go to my own dad about it.
About what?
Just where I stood with him, with you, your mom. I felt guilty that, I was just borrowing your family from you. It wasn't fair.
I never saw anything wrong with it. I think there's anything like that going through your head either.
So David, I just laughed at me, made his coffee and we talked it out. Turns out he had similar ideas.
He reached out for the license again, I handed it back. A slight smile crossing his face, he looked down at my dad's face.
On and off and brought out this folder, I guess. Had a bunch of papers and stuff he'd been collecting from work. So because I wasn't a minor, it wouldn't be the same as he had a word for it. But yeah, I had things for like a restraining order, adoption papers. It was nuts.
Wait, adoption?
Yeah. His hands were tied in dealing with my dad the normal way, but because I was over 18, there were still options. It is that you and I would need to share a bedroom until we could figure something out.
I chuckled at the idea, resting my head against Ty's shoulder. You'd make the room a mess, but I guess the upside is that we could get bunk beds.
You still want bunk beds at our age?
As long as I got the top bunk.
Yeah, fat chance of that happening. I'm the older brother, so I get to pick first.
You'd probably make the room a mess too.
Would not. Not the matter if you leave your fucking painting junk everywhere.
Hey, I need all that space for art. Helps make the art happen.
Bullshit.
It helps?
I'll still call him bullshit. I haven't seen you make some in a while either. You should do that again.
I haven't.
Well, I've seen anyway.
Well, that should be easy enough. I'll do something when we get home or whatever. Can we just go back a couple of steps? So all those papers are back of the house? All this time we've actually been brothers? Like, actually?
No, we didn't go ahead with it. There was other shit going on. I thought about other stuff and it was time to get ready for work, I guess.
Oh.
Still went and got a couple of things put in place though. Restraining order and whatever, but I didn't get around to finishing them after what happened.
So when we get back?
I don't know. We'll probably figure out how to get them going again. At least a couple of them. One might have a restraining order at least.
Well, okay, but when you move in properly, I need to teach you how to do art stuff.
Who says I want to learn?
It's my room, you should know this stuff.
I'm sure I could figure it out. I don't know how to do it already.
Okay, name one art then.
How do you mean, one art?
Just name one.
Well, I don't know, the one of the soup?
What soup? Ty grumbled, rubbing his head.
Look, art is your thing. You want me to get your car working, that's when you should leave it to me.
Only cars, though? Or if, like, a hinge breaks in the kitchen or something?
Sure, I think I could do that.
Nodding slowly, I rubbed my knees and he put an arm over my shoulder, yawning. Ty.
What?
Are we good? Like, actually?
Why?
I'm just confused is all. Like, finding out about Dad being here about the adoption papers. I had no idea that any of this was happening.
Don't see how this is about you and me, though.
Well, I didn't know this stuff was happening with Dad. I didn't know that. Well, he had stuff he kept from me.
Get to the point, Dave.
What I mean is, all the stuff you've been keeping from me too, like, are we good? There isn't something you've been hiding from me, just it's easier, right?
You want to know all my secrets now?
No, I just... He pulled away and shuffled around, be sitting one leg over the side of the bed so he's facing me.
This past year's been rough for both of us. Yeah, it's been more shit for you, but bad stuff happens all the time. Because I don't go telling you everything doesn't mean we're not good.
So, yes, we're good?
We're good, I think.
What makes you unsure?
Just more personal stuff. You get it, but I don't want to share. But you go asking, I just don't want to.
Oh.
Listen to me, we're good. I'm good, you're good. We're all good. Well, at least as much as we can be, right?
The way his eyes glinted as he looked at me made me feel funny. I couldn't place what it was specifically, but it felt something like what I imagined love would be like. A warmth spread through my chest and made me think of home. The slightest smile started to form on my face. Didn't get all that far, but I quickly found myself grabbed and pulled forward. My head was against his chest a moment after, listening to his heartbeat while he hugged me close. This was a safe space. This was my safe space, at least right now. I shook as I thought about how things had been at the start of the vacation, how they developed so far. Ty being everyone's enemy, then almost dying, into almost doing something to me I really didn't want. And then he saw me as little brother or something like that, and that he missed me before everything happened with Dad. The next intake of breath I had rattled on its way down. I clutched Ty close as I started to cry. I didn't even know why, but it felt right just letting out whatever emotion this was vent out.
Hey, don't fall asleep.
My grip must have been loosening, and him speaking snapped me back to reality. I'm not falling asleep. The yawn betrayed me though, and Ty just tussled off my head.
I'll sleep after we've made dinner.
He got up and offered a hand out for me to take. He didn't question the cry, and he didn't mention anything about what happened. I assume that's just what he wanted.
Alright, good job.
On what?
Just letting yourself feel things, I guess. I remember being normal. If something, you're a bit of a brat and a crybaby.
I chuckled, wiping my eyes. What, jealous? He tilted his head again as he sized me up, thinking it over.
Oh, maybe a little.
We wandered downstairs, finished preparing for dinner, knowing full well that eventually people would start getting hungry. Even if we still had time to spare, we just spent the time idly tidying and keeping each other company until it was time for dinner. Dinner was, funnily enough, ordinary. People sat down, ate, chatted, as if it was just another communal meal during a get-together. With the exception of Oswin and Benson, everyone else was here. Having seen the hide nor hair of Oswin since this morning made me worry. Or if not worry, curious. Plus I had some words from him after what I'd figured out. The question was, which way should I go to the lab? Or would it be better to find Benson after to see Oswin? All things considered, if Benson wasn't around, I couldn't rightly ask him anyway, so that made the decision easier. Oh, Dave, what are you thinking about? Just wonder where Oswin is, or Benson even. It's a wonder we haven't seen either of them, unless someone's just forgotten to mention it. A quick look around the table indicated no one else had seen him as they collectively shrugged or shook their heads in turn. Well, probably someone in the house, right? As if they go out and leave us to fend for ourselves. That'd make sense, yes. Just seems unlikely we'd miss them, is all. I think we're going to check in, is all. See if either of them had figured out a plan the next couple of days, or eat if they're hungry. I'm sure they're fine. Benson's likely got things covered given he's the butler, right? I think check-in is worth it. It wouldn't harm to ensure they're both okay. I'll go do it now. I finished eating anyway. You going alone? Well, yeah. Shouldn't be a problem, should it? The house is secure. There hasn't been anyone else lingering around as far as we know, right?
Roswell fidgeted on the spot, looking me over. There's something in how he did it that made me feel odd. What's wrong? I don't know, I should go with you, just in case. I frowned, thinking that if Roswell were to come, I'd miss my chance to probably talk to Oswin, and by extension Thanatos were he around. You'll be alright, Roswell, promise. But Dave... It'll be fine. So I'll put a hand on Roswell's shoulder, shoot him and look.
If anything happens, or if you find something wrong, just yell and we'll come running. I don't think we need to keep together as long as you're just staying in the house.
Then Sal shot me a very serious look, and even Roswell's shoulder.
Don't let it be like the other day when you wandered outside without telling anyone where you went.
A chill ran down my spine, being made to remember how that went. I promise, no leaving the house, and if anything happens, I'll just yell.
Good.
The moment he eased up, it seemed to say to everyone else at the table who had similar thoughts. Well, I did much to calm Roswell, who still seems to take issue about me going alone. I just have to make it up to him later. Rushing out of the dining room, I had to leave the basement. I'd always seen to be the most direct route to the lab without needing to go all the way upstairs and circle back down. After yesterday, I looked at the hidden door, wondering if I should knock or just go wandering down there. For I knew what I was doing, I already opened the door, my decision made. How long do we have again? It depends on what you mean. I could hear the smugness in his voice as I travelled through the dark with the pale green light of the laboratory, followed by the annoyed grumbling from Oswin that followed. You know damn well what I mean, Thanatos. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4, doesn't matter, and you know it. Why doesn't it matter? Just tell me what I want to know. Until this experiment is over? Well, why not get Junior in here and I can tell you both? I froze in my place near the door as Oswin bolted out and nearly ran into me, grabbing me quickly and throwing me inside. What did I tell you about sneaking around? Don't be too hard on him. He's after answers just like you. Yeah, actually, a couple of things, but yeah. Fine, sit down. He gestured to a seat near his desk and I took it, watching Thanatos parade back and forth along the desk. Where's Benson? I'll be here soon, just getting Oswin here a snack. How much did you overhear? Not a whole lot. It's about how many days until something? Also an experiment? Oh good, you did hear that part. I paid him no mind, Dave. What did you need? I came to check in, plus, I guess ask a few questions of my own. And like what? And what this experiment is, what you do in the dining room this morning. Answer him. What if I don't want to? I shot Thanatos a confused look, scratching my face. Want? Answer him. Fine, jeez, you're no fun. Making a show of stretching out and leaning back against the wall, he looked between Oswin and I before speaking. Alright, so to cover what happened this morning, I wanted to go for a walk. Just a walk? Why not? If Oswin and Benson get to walk around, why can't I? You know damn well why. If you weren't able to stop me in another iteration, what makes you think you could stop me now? About that. If you remember everything we've ever done, then what's the point in doing anything at all? What do you mean? Like, you asking that question. You know the answer before I even say it, or what would have happened this morning when Oswin showed up? That's right. Think about it this way. I know how the conversation's going to go. I can guide it how I want by saying the right things, yeah? You do not have free will. No, I do have my orders existing from way back to nearly the first time I woke up. And that's what exactly? Good luck, Dave. Suppose he's been commanded to not reveal that. And just command him to reveal it? Sorry, no can do. Order stands to not tell anyone until the experiment is done. Right, what is the experiment anyway? Just the idea of morphic resonance in the vault, or the Thanatos proving that he can do what he's built to do. And the time limit? Well, that depends on you, doesn't it? Meaning? You know that Tyson is the next one at risk during the full moon. You can always just walk away now and let it happen. There is something worth bringing up here. There is? Consider remotely these orchestrating events that happen in a certain way. Perhaps the vision you saw only came about because Thanatos somehow manipulated you into causing it to happen. They claim, but can you prove it? Alas, I cannot. I think I have to rationalize it, the paradox of which event came first. Presumably something happened, you could be expediting the same sequence of events by different means. Well, aren't you a killjoy? You're right. So I had to take steps to pose it as an obstacle. But you know what Junior there does? Tell me what my next job is.
Well, I know now, so what's the next job?
Keep it alive. See if you can keep Tyson sane for the night. Deadline's tomorrow night. You should know now what the trigger is.
Right. I turned to Oswald with a frown. Why did you tell Thanatos to drive Tyson insane?
I did no such thing.
His eyes went to Thanatos for returning to me. But he said,
I said all I'm allowed to.
We're not done till you tell me how long we have left on the experiment. Surely you know.
It's variable. Then tomorrow night, a week from now, or just in the two. I think the end of the experiment a few different times. So telling you that it could end at any time doesn't help, does it?
I could almost hear Oswin grinding his teeth. So, to double check, you came to the dining room this morning to do something, and then did that knowing you'd be caught and then left?
I do admit you're keeping somewhat quiet even after we left. Why? You're setting up a failsafe. If I found myself in the timeline with Memphis, I'd rather not have my body damaged. More people that can repair me, the better.
But how does Dean find a new help?
He's an option. Maybe not the best one. I'll take what I get. You're not going to trust my repairs to the lion who can't put an ECM back together.
I scratched my chin, thinking it through.
If you need repairs, I may as well do it.
I think I have another question.
Go on.
Are you on our side? Like, this experiment isn't meant to kill us, right?
I was hoping you were going to ask that question, but here we are.
That doesn't sound good.
Is it meant to? But no, it's listed as acceptable to achieve a result. Collateral damage or whatever. There's no way I would have sanctioned that. Good thing it's not your experiment anymore then, isn't it?
And whose is it?
You're just going to have to find that out yourself, sorry. I feel like we've wasted our time interrogating further. I already have a headache.
Wasn't Benson meant to be coming around?
You're right, this is a bit of a worry. I wonder what's keeping him. He won't be long. Sorry for the delay, I'm here now.
Benson strode in the room and placed a cup of tea along with what seemed to be a slice of cake on the desk next to Thanatos.
Oh, thanks, Penny boy. You know that's not for you, you abomination. Now, be nice.
Benson, everything all right? It sounded like you to dawdle.
Quite. I had questions to answer the moment I appeared in the dining room. The others informed me that Dave had come looking for the two of us, and a curious young man decided to question me further.
You mean Roswell?
Indeed. Not that there's any problem with that, although I do apologise for not bringing you fresh ones either, Dave.
Oh, it's fine, I think. You're both alive. I got what I needed, and that's basically it, really.
Leaving already?
Well, it's not like we can get much out of Thanatos, and I don't think you have anything for me either, right?
If he decides to drop any pearls of wisdom, I'll be sure to let you know come the morning.
Okay, good night then.
Sleep well, Junior.
I backtracked through the passage and closed the door behind me once I emerged into the basement. Stretch and I headed upstairs and checked the dining room for the others to see if they were still around. Anyone here? Ty looked at me from the sink washing the dishes.
You're back.
Yeah, it turns out Oswald was just holed up doing science or whatever.
Oh, well, good to know, I guess.
I still looked out of the window and then looked back to Ty, who was still watching me. Doing the dishes?
Yeah, we made dinner, so I figured I'd clean.
Since when were you this tidy?
Fine, and you do them.
Pulled his hands on the water and started rubbing them over my face, letting my fur stick out at weird angles.
Hey, I wasn't ready. And shut up and let me do the dishes.
He continued, his tail swaying gently behind him and seeming in a better mood than before. You really did need that nap, huh?
Oh, tell me about it. It's a little sore, but it's better.
You should sleep in my bed tonight.
What?
You know, if your room was so loud and all.
Alright, yeah, I guess that makes sense, huh? You don't mind swapping?
Oh. I didn't intend for that to come across as swapping. Both things that considered seemed like the better move, if only to avoid Thanatos. Given Thanatos' orders, swapping rooms would just make my room with Tyson's, which got us nowhere. No, I meant, together.
Oh, sure, yeah, that's fine too. Wade just replied, sent me for a loop. So casual about it, I wasn't even sure he registered what I'd offered.
Well, I just need to get some in my room first, but it should be fine.
Get what?
Oh, just something. Don't worry about it.
When Ty finished washing the dishes and I was tagged in to dry them, we headed upstairs together. He went to his room and I went into mine, figuring it was time for a shower. The hot water felt nice, especially with the steam clearing my nose of all the dust from the corridor to the lab. Then the added bonus of lightly scented soap on top made me relaxed. My clothes left on the floor of the bedroom, plus the sound of the shower should be enough of a giveaway for where I was. I heard Ty call out the same.
Hey, you in the shower?
Yep. It wasn't long before the door behind me opened and in stepped Ty, pushing me out of the water to get himself drenched and then pulling me back under the direct flow of water. You could have waited your turn.
I didn't feel like it. Pass the soap.
I'm using it, so wait your turn.
You're scared of dropping it though that I'm here.
A little, yeah. His hands on my sides froze when I quit back, putting him on the back foot.
Really?
If you wanted to do something, Ty, you'd have just done it by now. This is just getting clean, right? Offering out the soap trim, I rinsed off and moved out of the way so he could wash properly.
Didn't mean me to get you back.
Already did it.
Huh.
He turned his back to me as he continued to wash down, and I felt odd. We'd seen each other naked before, but with his back to me, I almost felt like he was embarrassed, or this was just like a gym shower. I stepped out to give him his privacy and toweled off, moving to use the blow dryer around the time the water switched off. Just as well as Ty decided to shake rather than towel off, making me need to focus drying one whole side again so I felt comfortable put on clothes. I wasn't about to get dressed while still damp. I left Ty with the bathroom to finish drying off. I went and changed into my pyjamas. Even if it was just a pair of loose-fitting shorts, and lay back to the bed to stare at the ceiling. He didn't come out of the bathroom and rustling around for something before wandering over to the bed.
You tell the others you were back?
No.
I'll be back then. Someone else should know you're not gone missing again.
Didn't even bother putting on pants. I heard him talking to someone nearby. I set up to see if it was happening just outside the door, before I could get up to see who he was talking to when he came back.
Dean said he let the others know.
That's all?
Also, that's why I was in your room in just my underwear. Told him to fuck off.
Ty came over to the bed and dropped down next to me, grumbling.
I'd have liked to. I just hadn't been sleeping well and you're helping with that.
Well, at least you don't need to apologise to Dean now. Orlando was enough.
Oh, right. You know, said you'd make yourself free tomorrow night for a thing.
A thing? What thing?
Fuck if I know what he's talking about. Just said he'd let you know and he wanted off looking happy with himself.
Guess I'll find out tomorrow.
Guess so, huh?
So, time for sleep, or...
I guess so. Didn't bring anything to play or do, right?
That's more Orlando's thing. I know something you can watch on my phone.
Pass. Just sucks we don't have an internet connection to look stuff up.
Will let anyone else know we're here?
Yeah, but it's not forever. We'll get home eventually.
He got up and flicked off the light, throwing us into darkness.
Move over. I want to get into bed.
Shuffling around so I was under my side of the bed, Ty went around the bed and got into the other, rolling onto his back.
Dave.
Yeah?
Were you serious about bunk beds before?
Only kinda. Why?
Oh, no reason.
I just figured you want your own bed and it'd save some space, right?
Yeah, I get it.
You don't sound too happy about that. I guess it's just thinking that that sort of thing will just stop at some point. It's not as if sharing a bed is something we do all the time anyway.
And if it was?
It'd probably not sit well with any boyfriend I had. Also, we'd probably need a much bigger bed.
Yeah, probably.
I rolled over and placed a hand on his chest. He looked at me and lightly stroked my fingers as I played with his fur.
What are you doing?
Just touching. He's soft and fluffy.
Is that all I'm good for?
If I said yes, am I going to get hit with the pillow?
I'll probably get kicked out of the bed at this point.
I chuckled softly and cuddled in against my pillow, just letting my hand rest against him. We lay that for a while before I heard Ty fall asleep. He must have been exhausted having fallen asleep so quickly after God knows how long of not sleeping well. That said, I was tempted to just fall asleep next to him too. Being asleep meant I could just not actively think about things for a while. Came at the cost of dreaming but it was at least a nice escape from everything else going wrong in the house. And that's the end of day 18. So there'll be more password next month. We'll be carrying on with Dean's day 18 on his route. So we'll see more then. And tomorrow will be an extra video. After class is back after the hiatus. And just a couple of days ago brought out the public version of Lars day 8. So we'll be going back to after class just tomorrow and dealing with that. And apparently I have to take a puppy for a walk in a moment. So before I go away from here, let me just give a quick mention to my top patrons: Tiger Cub, Sindri Dragowolf, Dissonance, Basuksu, Cobus Visser, Grizz, who of course is responsible for password as well, Evan King, David Taylor, The Beholder, Simuto, Brian Hall, Anubis Silverwind, Ida Corval, Brandon Bradford, Bastian, Lark Huskerton, Marcus, Kobe and Gunnar Muller. So thanks to them and all my patrons. Again, I'll be back tomorrow with After Class. So until then, bye for now.